reject the written word of the Lord, and they put confidence in these men who are changing their mind every decade. They can't make up their mind what's happened to dinosaurs. In fact, they can't make up their mind what happened in the past, and the reason is they weren't there. Whereas the Lord was there, and He's revealed to us what happened in the past through His word. Well, what about this idea of dinosaurs to birds? I love this one, and we can make some wonderful cartoons about this, can't we? Of how dinosaurs evolved into birds. But what we need to do is look a bit more seriously at this and look at the origin of feathers. I'm grateful to Dr. David Menton for one or two of the illustrations I'm going to show now. But as you may or may not know, and if you've been to his lectures you would know, that a scale is just a fold of skin. And we have to find out how you can go from a fold of skin to the delicate feather. We read in an article about the theory of the origin of feathers in American Zoology in the year 2000. And this is incredible, isn't it? We lack completely fossils of all the intermediate stages between reptilian scales and the most primitive feather. Ken has said about how the work in the United Kingdom has grown. I was invited to speak to a group of scientists at the Academy of Sciences of the Czech Republic. I often thought, when I did research in chemistry and when I was a senior administrator at the University of Cardiff, I was never invited to speak to such an august body. I joined Answers in Genesis, and within 2 years I'm up there before the great and the good, in terms of brains, in the Czech Republic. And I gave them a talk. First of all, I castigated them for the fact that every single person there said they didn't believe the Bible, and they all admitted they'd never even read the Bible, and they'd not even opened the Bible, they'd not even read one verse of the Bible. And I said, how on earth can you reject something you don't know anything about? I then said to them, if I came here and started to talk about evolution, and I said to you, I'm sorry, I've never read a book about evolution, but I don't believe it, I said you would throw me out. So I challenged them to read the Bible, because that's what happened to me, That's how I became a Christian. I was challenged to read the Bible. I was challenged to study the Bible, and I did so. And after a few months, I came to the conclusion that you could trust the Bible. I came to the conclusion that Jesus was the Son of God. I came to the conclusion that there was a God. And then I went to church, and I got convicted of my sins. And I repented of my sins and became a Christian. I've been brought up to be an atheist. And as you can tell, my parents failed miserably in that respect. And I thank the Lord for that. At this lecture, at the end, there were some questions. And this lecturer said to me, he was a professor, he said to me, but we know that dinosaurs have changed into birds. We've got a complete, the whole fossil record. And I said, no, you haven't. And he said, everybody knows that dinosaurs have changed into birds. And I said, well, where do you get the new genetic information from? This was a professor of biology, and he turned around to me and he said, oh, don't ask me about questions like that. I don't know. So let's have a look at the anatomy of a feather. And it is incredibly complicated. I am particularly interested in the little hooks which you find at the end of the anterior barbules in this area. And I've done a calculation, and I've come to the conclusion that on a typical bird feather, there's something like about 1,600,000 hooklets. Where are these? Let's have a look. Well, there in the center you can see the rachis, and coming out you can see the barbs and the barbules coming off the barbs. And if you magnify that section, and you can see these little hooklets, which have got the right radius of curvature to go around this posterior barb which is there. The fact that that little end of the hook there fits into the groove on the underside of this little barbule. And I just find this absolutely incredible. And yet, that we have problems here, because when you try to use this type of argument for design, and you say, you look at these feathers and you see this intricacy of the feathers, you see all this design, you ask, a couple of questions, you say, where does all this genetic information come from? And they can't tell you. And then you say, but look at this design, and then you're told that you can't use design. And they will tell you that evolutionary theory, although it can make little small changes, they tell you, and in this quote I'm using, it says that you do not get any guidance for understanding the emergence of entirely new structures, including digits, limbs, eyes, and feathers. So how did feathers originate? I would say to you that feathers originated because they were created by Almighty God, as we read in Genesis chapter 1, verses 20 to 21. And yet you have quotes like this: even if all the data points to an intelligent designer, such a hypothesis is excluded from science because it is not naturalistic. The problem is, this is from Kansas State University immunologist Scott Ted. So the problem is that even if we've got all this evidence of design, the evolutionists say, no way, well, we don't accept that. They've even got a word for something that looks as if it's been designed, and they claim that it hasn't. They use the word designoid. Talk about suppressing the truth. Talk about being willingly ignorant. Talk about saying, no, I can't see design. You know, they are blinding themselves. It is incredible, some of the things that these evolutionists say.